Welcome back to the best book ever. As we come to the end of our Christmas series looking at Jesus' birth and childhood, we reach a favourite passage that is not taught, in my opinion, as much as it should be. Let's turn to Luke chapter 2, verses 41 to 52. Every year, Jesus' parents travelled to Jerusalem for the feast of Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up, as they always did, for the feast. When it was over, they left for home. The child Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but his parents didn't know it. Thinking he was somewhere in the company of pilgrims, they journeyed on for a whole day, and then began looking for him among relatives and neighbours. When they didn't find him, they went back to Jerusalem looking for him. The next day they found him in the temple, seated among the teachers, listening to them and asking questions. The teachers were all quite taken with him, impressed with the sharpness of his answers. But his parents were not impressed. They were upset and hurt. His mother said, "Young man, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been half out of our minds looking for you." He said, "Why were you looking for me? Did you know that I had to be here, dealing with the things of my father?" But they had no idea what he was talking about. So he went back to Nazareth with them and lived obediently with them. His mother held these things dearly deep within herself. And Jesus, he matured, growing up in both body and spirit, blessed by both God and people. Most people will be struck by Mary's words when she found Jesus, but I'll come back to that soon. Let's start back at the beginning, where we find Jesus' family go to Jerusalem every year for Passover. Some will question if this happened while the family was in Egypt. I don't know, but I do know it had happened with enough frequency that by the time Jesus was 12, it could be said they went every year, just as it can be said we always have a summer holiday, even though many of us didn't get one last year, and some are anticipating restrictions this year too. Some preachers have commented on Jesus being young. I don't know about your experience, but the 12-year-olds I've met, that's school year 8, don't like to be considered children, and are often found pushing the boundaries in preparation for that day when they will be granted full adult freedoms and responsibilities. He was old enough to be given a packed lunch and trusted to occupy himself all day with his friends, under the watchful eye of adults nearby, and then return in time for dinner. What has confused me is the question, what happened to his siblings when Mary and Joseph returned to Jerusalem? By the time Jesus was 12, he would have had a number of younger siblings, though the Bible only names 5 brothers and an unknown number of sisters by the time he was 30. What did Mary and Joseph do with them while they were searching? It's possible they would have trusted a family member to take them home and look after them while Mary and Joseph searched. But what if Mary had a baby? It's possible they took all the children with them back to Jerusalem. But have you ever tried to keep track of children in a busy area? I suspect they trusted most of the children to relatives, but took with them the youngest ones that could not be left for so long. Yes, they found Jesus on day 3, but how long did it take them to catch up with the rest of the group? I guess it took about a week. The Message Bible says that when they found Jesus, the teachers were all quite taken with him because of the questions and answers he gave the teachers in the temple. Jesus was bright for his age, but he still went home and matured in body, mind, and spirit. This means he still had to learn and probably made mistakes like we do. He was fully human, not born knowing everything. But did his brain cause him to be bullied by jealous peers? Mary and Joseph were used to their bright child. They were not impressed by his words, but they were scared by the possibilities, the what-ifs, of having Jesus alone in a big city for 3 days. I know what it felt like when I was lost for only a short time as a child, and how scary it was when I lost track of my child. It didn't matter that it was only a very short time, just minutes. I understand how Mary would have spoken out of her fear, reprimanding Jesus for not leaving Jerusalem with the others, instead of praising him for his outstanding Q&A session. It is so easy to forget the truth when you're overfamiliar with it. This is one reason for starting this series of clips, to stop me from being overfamiliar and complacent with the Bible and my God. Next week, we'll start a new, very short series looking at something I discovered less than a year ago. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.